Man, we about to, I guess, kick it off, man. We got to get it.
And you know what we got to get it out with shit?
I like...
You know
I'm really... Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm actually looking for Best Friend Weekend Podcast. I'm ready for what? I want
to the Best Weekend Podcast. Best Weekend Podcast.
Welcome to the Best Friend Weekend Podcast. It's your man Aldo Nice.
How's everybody doing tonight? I'm Rog Smuve.
Man, that was a very... Are you having issues? Why was that so abbreviated?
I'm just trying to figure out a different way to say it. I can't always be the homie Rog Smuve. It just feels so secondary.
I mean, then I feel like that's something you need to work on.
I'm working on it. That was me working on it.
That's you working on it in pre-production? We don't need you to work on... Come on, that's like Dwight Howard trying to work on a 3-point shot in the middle of the game, dog. Like you don't work on it in the middle of the game. You're supposed to have these things prepared.
all he needs to do is extend his arm all the way, and he might make shots.
And he just drop that thing.
Just drop that
thing in the.
Just reach your arm in the cookie jar. Give me the faggot wrist, and then he might make a shot.
Come on, man, maggot. We're not gonna use that kind of terminology, man. We don't know what
opportunity podcast. I understand.
Okay, I get you. Well, man, look, we didn't know. Rog Smuve is back. Can we get a hand, y'all? Can we get a hand, people? Rog Smuve is back he's back. I don't have to go and be rogue no more. I didn't want to be rogue. I didn't want to be rogue.
Like you enjoyed it to me.
I mean, you don't know how many people would hit me up like, man, let me stand in for Rog Smuve. I was like, no one stands in for Rog Smuve.
Also,
I'll just do half on my own.
I don't know if I want to necessarily picture you sitting in the room talking to yourself.
I mean, I was.
I know. It's funny. That's good, though. That's good. That helps with your social skills, you know?
It's like I was preparing, like, what would somebody else say in response to what I just said? That's exactly how that went. I was in the house by myself with all the air conditioning off so it would be quiet in the background. And just laughing to myself and making my own observations. But I mean, it's kind of like thinking stuff.
Way to let everybody know that we have a very bootleg podcast. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we do record with the air conditioning off. It just wouldn't be as quality of a podcast if it were on.
Because you hear that hiss, it'd be like you're trying to holler at something at the K at the mall.
Why can't you holler at something? Oh, pss, pss, pss. Say. And then, of course, the color of shirt she has on. Say, the yellow shirt. It never works.
Hey, I know y'all loving the theme music. I know I didn't talk to it. I mean, it's like I was jamming. We've been jamming on it. Like, we put out a couple of feelers in the community and was like, hey, look, we need every good superhero needs some theme music. And this podcast is brought to you by OT Media, live OT Media, outlet. You can't make sound effects.
Well, then that's what we do. Like you already told everybody it was a bootleg podcast, so I might as well make my
OT bootleg. Griffin Media, man. Follow otgriffin.media on all things social media. Yeah, that's our former producer. He used to go OT, but yeah, he dropping the heat rock. He said he's still in the mix. If you need that work, holla at OT. He does it all. You know what I mean? But so that's our first and second and maybe our third step towards putting it on iTunes for all of those people who like, I can't listen to your podcast on SoundCloud or on YouTube or on your website. I need something else to facilitate.
Yeah, I got Apple CarPlay, so I need to listen to it on my car.
Y'all not on Apple Podcast? I looked on Apple Podcasts and I searched Best Friend Weekend and only Best Friends came up. I don't know, man. I'm gonna need y'all to do better. You gotta work with us. We are work in progress right now. But like I said, welcome to the Best Friend Weekend podcast again. It's been an interesting couple of weeks.
Or interesting couple of days since you went rogue. But anyway, go ahead.
This is true. So it seems like some of the prevailing things that have been happening over the course of the last week or so. We're still in the mode of hip hop. Now, we said this wasn't going to be just a big hip-hop pod, but we're going to talk about a couple of things today, but I definitely want to talk about hip-hop. I was all into the BET Awards. I'm lying. I really wasn't. I really
You know what? Hold on. Wait. Let me stop you right there. Let me tell you when I stopped watching the BET Awards. Now, granted, we have a podcast now, so I might need to start watching the BET Awards for material, more so than entertainment. But I stopped watching the BET Awards when they could not even blurt out the curse words at the right time. They would still say the curse words on live TV and then blurt the next word out. I'm done. Y'all can't get...
That's around the time when they was making those BET movies when it was like, yeah, fool, you better take your monkey self and sit down in the corner, boy. Like that was around that time, right?
It was around that time, but it was just way worse. I don't mind if you kind of clean it up a little bit, and I don't even mind if you like mute it out. But they couldn't even mute it at the right time. It was muted the word after. It was terrible.
I mean, I'm not gonna talk down on black entertainment television. I've been a loyal supporter of blacks my whole life. I support blacks and whatever kind of entertainment they want to have on television since Donnie Simpson and Midnight Love. Video Soul. Oh yeah, whatever we want to do.
Not supporting blacks with your pronouns.
Okay, but I did watch a few minutes of the BET Award, and I saw that they're changing centric to like BET Black Women. It's like going to be called BET Black Women or something now, not centric anymore. I think that's crazy. I feel like the whole population of BET is black women anyway, so I don't know if they're trying to get them Oprah own network dollars, but it's just an interesting turn of events the way I'm looking at. Like, why do black networks have to always be called something like that? Centric. Shine.
Essence.
What
you said, shine. Hold on, there's one word that we're missing though.
Unity.
Exuberance. I don't know. I can definitely, we could have a whole podcast on that. But
please tell us a great name for a, just tell us you can leave it in the comments for it. Tell us the best name for a black TV network. If I wanted to make a black TV network, I would call it things like Together. Like, we black. We got to put stuff like that, right? But as I was watching Pride. I like Pride. Well, Pride. It was Pride weekend this past weekend. What you do to celebrate, Raj?
Well, being that I've never celebrated before, I didn't celebrate this year. So, but congratulations on whatever y'all are celebrating,
This podcast is brought to you by everybody who was out there supporting Pride weekend. If they were prideful or not. We're not worried about what goes on in your bedroom. Whatever makes you happy makes us happy. But hopefully you got it in this weekend.
So here's the thing. Hopefully you had risky sex. So here's so here's why the number one reason why here's the number one reason why I don't think I will ever be a part of the Pride parades. I just whenever you go to a place that has glitter involved, and especially a lot of glitter, you'll have a piece of glitter, at least one piece of glitter on you for months. Like my friend, okay,
probably.
Let's bring up Chase Trafficker again. Whenever you throw the rice at the end of the wedding, like just the kind of celebratory rice. Well, they had like celebratory like glitter and non-pareils, or however you say that word. Like it was just like a whole bunch of things you just throw, and part of it was glitter. And Chase's wedding was in September. I had a piece of glitter on me from Chase's wedding in December.
Did you wash your ass?
I do wash my ass, but it doesn't matter what you do. That piece of glitter will still be on you.
See, I'm scared at events like that with at pretty much a lot of events with glitter, because I feel like, especially Pride weekend, I feel like a little dude might have walked up to one of us and been like, "I see something in your eye, boy," and then tried to blow in your eye to get the glitter out, and you would have just had to it would have started something. Like you would have been like, "Hey man, look." And he'd have been like, "I'm just trying to help." And then you would have looked like you was the big homophobe. Like, "Hey man, I just don't need you blowing in my eyeball right now." But,
no,
that's how I feel about it.
I wouldn't even like, honestly, if a chick came up to me and blew in my eye randomly, I don't think I would like that either. So if a dude did it, it would be across the line, like, "Hey man."
I mean, I remember you told me this one time before talking about blowing. I'm thinking about the opposite, about like inhaling. it's a very interesting theory, and I think you out here, you in the audience might actually find this interesting as well. And these are your words, not mine, Raj. When some people pass by you, you inhale, and when some people pass by you, you hold your breath. And it just doesn't matter. It doesn't, like, it's a subconscious thing. Like, if a person looks funky, you will hold your breath. If a person looks like, ooh, let me see what they smell like. And that's unisex. Like, you might be like, oh, this dude look fly, man. I bet he got some nice cologne on, cutting. I'm not smelling the dude, I'm lying.
I wasn't co-signing on that one. I was not co-signing on that one because any guy pass me, I'm either gonna stay neutral or I'm gonna hold my breath. I'm not gonna see how he smells in interest. I feel like big fat black men who dress nice probably smell better than anybody. But look what I would say. I would say this, and this is probably as homo as it'll get for me. If a dude pass me and he smell good, he got that YSL on. You know that YSL.
That La Holmes.
If you know that YSL, you know what I'm talking about. A dude pass you, he got that YSL on, and you just so happen to catch a whiff, you will stop in your tracks and say, damn, that nigga smell good. You know? Oh, damn, that guy smells good. Let me keep it uniracial, I guess is what you would say. I don't know.
Do white boys wear cologne? I didn't know they did.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Do they wear lotion?
The only white dude that I would know that would wear cologne would be Tanner. I'm going to have to ask.
Do they put lotion on their knees?
I don't know.
And elbows?
I don't know. I don't think so, man, because ash is the same color as them, you know, so it doesn't really matter.
It really don't matter at all. Okay. Back to where we were going with this. We were watching hip hop. Hip hop was happening. Didn't necessarily watch the BET Awards, but hip hop's been happening. The first thing that happened last week was at the BET Awards. I know you saw the tape of Safari standing outside and Meek Mill hopping out of a SUV and saying, "What's up now, partner?" And then he took off running very swiftly across the street and evaded all traffic. So,
and not traffic as in cars, traffic as in people.
Human traffic. Homeboy he was human trafficking. His homeboy got the paws put on him, and then they both went on to tell these elaborate stories. Safari, nobody hit me, and Meek was like, I wasn't even there, but as evidenced by the video, they both were there. What are your initial thoughts on two guys fighting over a chick that neither one of them is currently with?
Well, you know what? This podcast is brought to you by New Cupid. Because if you know Cupid in his early days, he got this song that maybe nobody knows. You might not even know who Cupid is. But
down, do your dance, dance.
There you go. That's recently. The old one is, why are you hating on me? I'm chilling in the club, hold up, that's me. And then he says, you got yours, I got mine. You need to check your girl. You need to check your guy. Like as if, don't talk to me about that girl. Talk to your girl. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about any situation. If they have someone that's harassing my lady, then we have a problem. But if my lady is completely okay with you being harassed by you, then you need to check your girl.
So this beef is what? Is it because Meek was like a slime ball and he was dirty macking? Is that what ended up happening to get Nicki from Safari? I mean, I don't follow these things. I actually think Nicki Minaj is really lame.
Do you?
But I think Nicki Minaj is super lame.
Really?
Like super duper lame. Yeah, always have. Have. Never thought she was cool.
That's crazy because Nicki Minaj is actually like one of my favorite women.
Like women?
Like women.
Like Michelle Obama and Nicki Minaj? Like women?
I never said Michelle. It's not universal that Michelle Obama is one of your favorite women. Nicki
You're
Minaj
black.
is one of my favorite
You're black.
women.
Michelle Obama is one of your favorite women.
Yes, okay, I do like Michelle Obama, but you know, she's not one of my favorite. One of my favorite is Nicki Minaj. I love Nicki Minaj.
So who else? Rihanna and Nicki Minaj, and who else are your favorite women? Because I'm just guessing.
I like Rihanna because of her music. I like Nicki Minaj because of her character, like her
character.
I guess that's funny to say. Her persona, if you will.
Okay.
Like not necessarily her.
Oh, you mean the character? You mean the character she plays?
Yes, that like her caricature. I don't even know what you call it, but her persona is, I guess, what you would say. I would have to think. You
gotta have a third because you gotta have like a top 3 women. So if I'll give you some top women. So like my top 3 women would be Brittany Griner because she could do both. She could do both. I mean, she could do both. Didn't she get a domestic violence charge for like beating an old lady? What does do both mean? She'll dunk on you and she'll put on that dress. And she'll probably she could just do both. I mean,
that's Candace Parker to me. I thought by do both, I thought you mean have a penis and a vagina. But
Candace do we really want her to do both? Do we really want her to do both?
I could smash
her. I try to stay away from that section on Pornhub. Like I try to stay away.
I could smash her, and she could smash me. That's what I thought.
She could do both.
So she's not one of my favorite women. Any woman that could smash me, literally, I don't want to. She's not my favorite.
You don't want to deal with it?
Not really. Wouldn't even have to think about it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I like Oprah a lot. I'm a big Oprah fan. I mean, you know, just that whole power of just kind of running stuff, being like the king of media. I'm a big Oprah fan, and I don't have a third yet, so we're waiting on your third.
Oprah would be my third one.
You're going with Oprah as your third one.
Oprah is I don't know the statistic, but I know as of 5 years ago, she was the only black billionaire. So
is she now? But I'm actually looking at my phone right now. And she recently is the first black billionaire.
Oh!
With an F.
With an F.
With an F. She's a billionaire. Like, so she's recently got to that level, so I think that's okay.
So there's no other black people that are billionaires?
No. Michael Jordan is not a billionaire. It says here he's got gambling losses and things of that nature. No, it's only Oprah Winfrey. She's the only black billionaire.
Okay. Well then,
so
I like
there
it
you
even
go.
more.
There you go. So I don't really have a third black woman. I'm going to come back around to that. I mean, you know, I'll come back around to my black womanism. But my whole point was that I don't really like Nicki like that. So whatever. What else? We don't have to like Nicki Minaj.
But okay, that's fine. You're not required to like Nicki Minaj. Just remove her.
I don't want them boys fighting over. I don't want them boys fighting over because one of them was dirty macking. Okay, if Meek was dirty macking and he was gone, because that's the story I hear. That he was talking down on Safari, like, I know your man's out here doing whatever. And then he ended up snaking his way in. And I always learned as a youngster growing up where I grew up that haters finish last. Like, if you pull maneuvers like that, you will never be successful. So Meek is living proof that can be successful. You can be successful by hating, but then he's also living proof that doesn't always, like, win in the long run. So,
because if you hate, if you're a hater, then Drake may or may not make 2 diss songs in the same month about you. So I get where you're going with that. That
Canadian guy that was murder on the national airwaves, and he shouldn't have been able to do that. But I think they're both super lame for fighting over a chick who neither one of them was with. I don't even have an analogy. That's not analogous to anything that I know. It's just ridiculous. And,
but okay, so I think it became more than just, oh, we're fighting over a chick. If me and you are like kind of talking to the same chick, or I'm talking to your ex, and some things are said, and then some more things are said, and then it just keeps on getting worse and worse, then it becomes less and less about the fact that it was over that chick and more so over what you said.
I got you. And I think I can go with that. Maybe after time you continue to be hating about the chick, then it turns into, now you just hating on me. I could.
But let me tell you this though, because I respect people that are totally different than me. So I'm of the tribe, podcast for a later time. I'm of the tribe where I don't believe that there's anything that you can say to me verbally, anything that you can say to me, unless it's like I'm gonna get you, sucker, But there's nothing that you can say to me that'll make me want to fight you, like unless it's something super disrespectful, like and it's true. So, like if somebody tell me like, oh, I got your girlfriend pregnant yesterday, and you really did, then maybe I might have some feelings towards that. But if it's just like, oh man, F you and that's it, and something like that, I don't believe in fighting over that. Like I don't. However, have you ever seen the movie Dope?
Yeah, I have seen Dope.
Okay, so A$AP Rocky in that movie is like my favorite actor in the movie. In that movie, the dude at the door of the club disrespected him verbally, and he was like, I gotta beat you up now. Like, I can't let you talk to me like that, and me not beat you up, because if I don't beat you up, I'm gonna lose respect. Like, I think that's cool. It's not like me, but I like seeing that kind of stuff. So I guess on the flip side, I'm thinking to myself, like, Meek Mill who still got some relevancy regardless of what Drake did to him. Meek Mill can't let Safari say whatever he want to say in these streets.
It took you a long time to get to that point, but I feel like that's a very valid point. That Meek Mill is still somebody that the hood niggas look up to, and he can't let somebody disrespect, because if you disrespect, you always gonna disrespect. And a guy of Safari's, like, whatever he is.
Who is Safari?
Exactly. Like, he can't be the person talking down on Meek Mill. He can't allow that. I think it has something to do with I'm looking right now on my phone, and it says something about, okay, so it says that he was actually conceived during an African vacation of his parents in the early 80s, or the late 80s, it says here. So that's why his name's Safari.
Oh, well, interesting.
That's interesting. I would have never guessed it.
What African country is he from?
Ghana. He's from Ghana.
I don't know why I was under the impression that it was Zamunda.
Zamunda. It would have been better if he was from Zamunda.
So it says Ghana?
It's Ghana. So as we're going forward, that was only one of the rap beefs this week. The other rap beef, obviously, that got a lot more pickup. We actually posted about it earlier this week. Was the JoeBudden's Migos fiasco on the gray carpet of the BET Awards. When he cut the interview short and got up and walked away looking disgusted, and them boys tried to flex on him. One of my favorite things of the week. Raj, thoughts?
Thoughts. First of all, it looked like a skit to me. Cause the dude cause Academics goes, you was left off of Bad Bougie. Who said I was left off Bad Bougie? Like it was just like, it was too much. It was like comedy to me, and everybody.
What you mean I was left off Bad Bougie? I wasn't left off Bad Bougie. What you mean I was left off Bad Bougie?
And the fact that, like, he kept asking him, he was like, what? Like, in the way that he kept asking him, and then the way that JoeBudden said, all right, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. And them niggas like, well, wrap it up then. Like, it was just, it just seemed like bad acting.
I felt like it was... Well, I did do a little bit of research on it in this regard. I watched the whole thing, because the whole video was like maybe 5 minutes. And then I started to listen today to JoeBudden's, like, his reasoning. JoeBudden's is claiming that when he sat down for the interview, that he didn't want to do the interview at all. I didn't want to do the interview at all. Y'all made me do it. And when I sat down for the interview, Offset shook his hand. Like, he was like, hey, how you doing? He shook Offset's hand. Then he stuck his hand out to shake Quavo's hand, and Quavo just flexed on him and did not shake his hand. And Takeoff didn't either. Both of them was like, nah, man, I'm not about to shake your hand, dude. Like, let's start this interview. Like, they played him. So he was in his own head the whole time, drove like basically they coming over here with an attitude. Well, I'm going to have an attitude. And that's kind of where he went with it. So that's what JoeBudden is saying. Joe, I want to be relevant buttons is what's saying that.
Joe, I don't know any of your songs buttons.
Pump,
I don't even know if it's Joe Buttons or Joe Buttons.
Pump it up.
Like, is it Buttons? Joe Buttons?
Yeah, he's actually got a cousin named Benjamin. And
right? Does he age backwards?
Benjamin. He does. And JoeBudden wish he aged backwards too, because then he might be relevant. I don't know. My thoughts on JoeBudden and them are kind of what I think we are the perfect curators of the culture, because we talked about this last week. We let you know it was coming. We told you old heads. We told you 2 weeks ago when we talked about the freshman class of 2017 to stop that hating, to stop being hating old people and just enjoy these children making music. But no,
so
JoeBudden.
All JoeBudden had to do was just listen to the podcast.
He too busy hating.
I think that just that calls for a shout out. This podcast is brought to you by JoeBudden. Buttons. Game had a diss song for him back in the day. Yeah, so when a lot of people have diss songs for you and everybody kind of talks down on you, it's something with you. So yeah, JoeBudden, yeah, he's. And then if you kind of saw his hands, like if you talk the talk, I guess this would be just the thing to say. I can't really say it in the cool way, but if you talk the talk, you gotta be able to walk the walk. Like JoeBudden literally talked the talk. He dropped the mic on them boys, like you was super disrespectful to them, to those successful young men. And maybe they were super disrespectful to you, but whenever the camera was flashing, you were super disrespectful to them boys. And them boys was like, man, what's good? Like, you're not about to flex on us like that. Even, let's say if it wasn't a skit, because in my mind it was. And the way that his hand motions was like, hey, y'all, chill, my bad, like, hey, it ain't gotta be all that, like, nah, bro, you done already went too far. And it seemed like everybody in the whole scene was with Migos. Where was JoeBudden click at?
Well, you heard the old girl calling for security. She's like, security, can somebody call security? She was shook. Oh, she was scared. They was all a little nervous right then.
I don't know if you saw this though. The funniest thing about the whole thing was Julio Jones's face.
Just in the background, stopped. They're like, what? What's happening over there? Julio.
What's going on over
there?
But
I don't play for Atlanta. Plug name Julio, but I don't play for the Falcons. Yeah. That's that was funny. That was a very funny part of that. I mean, I don't know. He's old head 101 doing old head things, talking down on the youngsters, and he's gonna catch up with him. And it caught up with him right there, but he's lucky it caught up with him at like the red carpet of an awards show. That could have been any kind of other scene, and they would have had to been pulling them boys off his ass. Like, you can't just keep being an old head. And you know what it gets me to thinking about? I'm actually comparing to like JoeBudden is like the Chris Carter or the Paul Pierce of rap, but not really, because he doesn't have any rings.
Never won a championship. I don't know what you're talking about.
He wasn't like one of the best. But he's that commentator who like used to play the game, and he's like, I used to be a rapper, and so I have an opinion on it, and I'm gonna talk shit about all of like the young and up and comers. Like, I feel like that's almost universal. And everybody I'm naming is like black men, which is funny. That's like once they do it and then they're finished doing it and then they get a job where they get to talk about it, they don't remember what it's like to be young anymore. And all they want to do is hate. Like, yeah.
Speaking of, did you see what, let me see, hold on. I need to find out who this is. I'm going to look on my phone right quick. How you faithfully looked on your phone. Give me 1 second here.
No, we don't have 1 second of air.
The whole LeBron super team, thing. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it. I'm not worried about LeBron them until next season, man. That's over, man. That's not a thing for right now.
Well, all I wanted to say about that, I can't remember what old head it was, but it was an old guy that played in the NBA, and he didn't hate at all. It was just him clarifying things for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't an old head come in and just be a cool G? Like, just be an OG. Don't be somebody to just mess up the culture, because the culture is gonna always move forward. And so eventually I'll be stuck in the Nelly Ludacris age, and the Lil Uzi Vert era is gonna be the generation under me. And then of course there's gonna be stuff that comes out in 2 generations ahead that I know nothing about, that I won't even give it a chance. So why wouldn't an old head that's still in the game, that's still gotta stay relevant with his knowledge on what's going on in the game, not just give respect where respect is due?
Because he's a hater. I got a question. Who would have won that fight if them boys would have actually got it in?
So if it was 3 Migos?
No, just pick a Migos. Pick a single Migo, a Miga.
JoeBudden would have dropped him.
He would have beat any single in hand-to-hand combat. One-on-one, he would beat any of Migos.
Based on size and the video, how it looked.
I don't know. I watched Quavo hooping the other day, and he looks athletic. So I think athleticism in my mind goes a long way towards like hooking.
Well, did you see that video of JoeBudden hooping?
No, I did not see the video of JoeBudden hooping.
Well, good. That proves my point.
Who would have won Safari against Meek Mill if they would have actually just let them two hook?
Honestly, if Safari stepped on my foot, I wouldn't know who he was.
That's kind of how I feel too. I don't even know who. I don't have a clue.
So if let's say if I'm Meek Mill, and let's say if Rog Smuve all of a sudden poofs into being Meek Mill, and I got to fight against Safari, some guy named Safari, I'm gonna win because my bodyguard's gonna beat you up.
I think at the end of the day, I'm really more upset about this than a little bit, because that's like 2 rap beefs that like didn't. I mean, it was just posturing. It was a lot of sticking your chest out at one another. I mean, I guess in Meek's case, his bodyguards was throwing licks at another person. I guess this just makes me upset that Floyd Mayweather has kind of turned his attention towards fighting Conor McGregor, and he never gave us Soulja Boy versus Chris Brown. Like I needed Soulja Boy versus Chris Brown, and then I would have had my fill of rap beef, and like it would have came to fruition. These cats could have been on the undercard. I'm so sad that we were robbed as a public of DeAndre Wade, that's his name, and Breezy. Like, I needed those two to actually get into pugilistic combat.
I have a question for you.
I'm listening.
Are you serious?
About what?
So, the same, in my opinion, almost the same fight, Meek Mill versus Safari. Not even quite. It may be on the same scale, is Chris Brown versus Soulja Boy. 2 different leagues. Chris Brown is a hit maker. I think the fact that Chris Brown beat the shit out of Rihanna kind of took away his luster. Like, people will never forget it. You know what I mean? People will never forget it and never forgive him for it. And he's kind of just that. I don't know. It's almost like taboo to listen to Chris Brown for some women, but nonetheless, he still puts out hits. Every single album he puts out has at least 5 singles on it. What about Soulja Boy's albums? Can you tell me Soulja Boy's last album?
Soulja Boy produces a lot of good stuff. So like last time when you were talking down on Roscoe Dash, all of them. This podcast is brought to you by the whole group, Roscoe Dash.
The whole group of Roscoe Dash.
Like I had a few people who came and told me like, Roscoe Dash like produces and ghostwrites and does all kind of stuff for a lot of album people, and Roscoe Dash makes long dough. So I wasn't aware that took place. Then somebody else told me that Roscoe Dash was an Uber driver. But Soulja Boy has like credits on Beyonce albums. I'm sure of that. He's getting money. I mean, I know he's not Chris Brown, but Soulja Boy, he wakes up in the out of his bed. He turns his swag on. He takes a look in the mirror, says what's up. Yeah. And then he gets money. He gets money.
Oh.
That's a real thing. I mean, I just know it's true. I don't know. I mean, like, there needs to almost be like a 2017 version of Def Jam Vendetta. Like, if there was like a Def Jam Vendetta when like these rappers and people in the hip hop industry, like we could play them as playable characters and make them fight. Who would be the number one rapper for your? Who would you pick to use as your character on Def Jam Vendetta 2017? Who you picking? You could have all of hip hop.
So basically, who am I most scared of in hip hop? Like who?
That's not what I said at all. Who's a playable character who you think will whip ass on a video game?
On a video game, who would kick ass?
The answer to the question is only one answer.
Okay,
go ahead.
Answer.
The answer is the game. I'm picking the game. I'm picking Chuck Taylor as
what
my
if it was the
playable
game,
character.
Game versus 50 Cent. The game.
I'm taking the game.
Really?
I'm taking the game. Okay, so and you just brought up a rap beef. Whatever. There's been rap beefs all over the place. You already told me who you would take in those. Like Nas and Hov. If Nas and Hov actually got into a fight, who would you take?
I feel like Hov's lips would hold him back a little bit. Like it's an easy target. So I'm gonna go with Nas.
50 or Ja Rule?
50 would kill. Oh my God, he'd mop Ja Rule.
T.I. or Lil Flip?
I think I'd have to give it to Lil Flip.
I think Lil Flip would beat his ass too. How about when Gucci Mane was beefing with Jeezy? So now, they used to be Fat Gucci and Fat Jeezy, but now they're Slim Gucci and Slim Jeezy. The current versions of Gucci and Jeezy.
I don't know if I've ever said this on a podcast, but I remember disliking Jeezy a lot whenever Jeezy was coming up, when he was like, would have been on the Freshman 15. Everybody liked the Freshman XXL. Everybody liked Jeezy. It's funny, Freshman 15, they both had their Freshman 15 at the time. Everybody liked Jeezy, and I was like, I don't like him. And then I actually gave him a chance, and I was like, oh my God, this dude's amazing. Like, this dude can really rap. Well, I heard the song Icy, and I always thought that Gucci Mane was the dude that was singing, I say all these friends. I always thought that was Gucci Mane. So back in the day, I thought, Jeezy will whip that singing ass niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll beat him up. Now, Gucci Mane, I think, I don't know what you'll think, but I think it surpassed Jeezy as far as popularity goes.
Ooh.
That's a good debate though. That's a very
good question. Jeezy loyalist or Jeezy loyalist? Gucci's big because Gucci got a lot of artists and he's relevant in that way. Like I think Gucci's got Bryson Tiller on his label.
But their music. As far as their music go, I feel like
I think Gucci probably is a bigger.
Has way more hits than
but
Jeezy
you know what?
has. Jeezy's got some hits.
You know what? That's not the question. The question is who's winning in hand-to-hand combat.
So hand-to-hand combat, man, I feel like neither one of them fighting with them hands. Or somebody whoever get that bullet first, whoever get that trigger.
Gucci did kill some people. He did murder some people. I don't know. I think I like Gucci in that one. How about when, let me think. How about after that last time when 50 Cent bet he was doing something, it was a bet. I don't remember what the bet actually was. But Webby was betting 50 Cent. You remember when they was beefing for a little second? I think Webby would whip 50 Cent.
Do you really?
I think Webby would beat 50 Cent up, gun.
Do you know 50 Cent's measurements?
Do you?
I don't. Pause. Have you ever Googled Big Sean dick?
No, I have not Googled Big Sean dick. I take it you have?
No, I've never.
What's wrong with this dude, man?
Funny story. Oh my God, funny story. But boy, Big Sean, boy, how big is yo? So.
So you Googled it.
It's Pride Weekend, you know what I'm saying?
You can't do that. We don't need that, man. It is what it is. Yeah, I guess a lot of it is posture, and then a lot of people just kind of like they put it out there, and it's like this beef and whatever. But I mean, they don't really ever throw the hand, so I guess that's kind of why I was getting at. I didn't watch the Pac movie. We should have went and watched that Pac movie. I wonder if they had scenes of like Tupac fighting people, because I know.
But doesn't it suck? Doesn't it suck whenever you like get such mixed reviews on a movie? You see some people like you see some people saying like, "Oh man, the Pac movie was great," and then like you see people that like you respect their opinion, and they're like, "Man, that Pac movie wasn't all that." Like,
but I think Pac does that. I think people are so fiercely defend Pac to the point where their opinions are going to be swayed. Some people love Pac to the point where they're like, "Look, this has to
nobody else matters."
Yeah. So therefore, this movie has to be better than Notorious. It has to be like better than The Godfather 1. It has to be better than Rocky. Like Pac, people want Pac's movie to be like the best thing that ever came out. So I think those are the people who are giving you those reviews that saying it isn't as good as you would want it to be. I think it's probably a good movie, but we can't really speak intelligently unless one of us go watch it, and neither one of us will watch it yet.
You know, I heard some rumor around that they wanted Lil Yachty to play Pac. Did you hear that?
I heard something about them saying Lil Yachty said he was better than Pac. I don't remember anybody saying that.
No, there was. Check it out. Check out the rumor.
I heard another thing that when John Singleton was supposed to be producing the movie, he had like nothing but big scenes of like Pac Mama, like them running trains on Pac Mama.
Was that what Pac's Mama was about?
That's what John Singleton wanted Pac's Mama to be about. I don't know if that's a real thing or not.
So Pac Mama was Big Star Dale.
Boy, stop. This podcast is not brought to you by that thing. Stop it. Stop it, man. Man, look. I don't
chances she catches that.
No. Okay. Yeah, the chances are slim. But I mean, you know how people do. Somebody might see the podcast and say, "Hey, we got to get to it." I don't want to like the weekend is almost upon us, man. I want to get to like one other story.
What weekend?
The best friend weekend. It's almost
I almost forgot.
It's almost upon us. So I want to get to like one more story that it's out of the national headlines. It's in the local headlines. So back home, I was looking at some police reports from the Back Home news station, and there was an article that flashed across the screen, and it said police find 55 ounces of marijuana-laced brownies inside home of New Iberia woman, and there's a picture of the damsel in distress, the porcelain princess, young white lady who got caught with 55 ounces of marijuana-laced brownies in New Iberia. And I was like, oh, that is so sad. They busted this poor little angelic, pure young lady for just having some weed brownies, some edibles. Rod, you live in Denver. Edibles are legal. They should be legal. Legalize it everywhere. All she had was 55 ounces of marijuana-laced brownies. Could you just let the woman live?
Yeah,
then I read the story.
55 ounces is not even a pound.
It's not even a pound.
Crazy. Why would they put that in there for something less than a pound? Because if it was a pound, more than a pound, obviously they would put the poundage. Right?
As I continue to read on KLFY TV10news.com, I read the story. Like, why would they bust this poor little young lady? And they said agents also found, in the story, in the fine print, agents also found 16 pounds of marijuana, 94 grams of that Yola, and other assorted...
What is that Yola?
Of heroin.
Heroin. Female superhero.
that boy. And other assorted drug paraphernalia. The street value of the seized narcotics is more than 25 racks. Motherfucker, really?
25 is like racks is in billions?
No, 25,000, but damn, really? Really, people? That's the headline. 55 ounces of marijuana-laced brownies is the headline. But in reality, she had...
let me tell you what I feel.
She had that work.
She had... I mean, I don't know exactly how much... Like, I'm not... I'm more on, like, the standard scale than the metric scale. But she had 94 grams of heroin. That's a lot to me.
That's a good time, dog.
That's a lot of heroin. Like that's a lot that you're sticking in your arm, How they got that in here, in their ass. So on the ass, if you a little white girl, a little pizza face white girl.
Pizza face.
From New Iberia, Louisiana, and you selling 55 ounces of brownies.
Yeah.
Happy brownies.
Yeah.
16 pounds of marijuana and 94 grams of heroin. Then you're probably selling the same amount of that monkey, couldn't you?
You're probably selling a proportional amount of jubs, is what you're saying?
If you're down to sell that much as a pizza face white girl, then you're down to sell the same amount of that monkey.
I don't even know where to begin. So you're saying if you're a porcelain goddess and you're out here selling that Yola, then you gotta be selling that monkey too. I wonder if she's on Backpage.
I don't know what you're talking about. If
she's on Backpage, she probably put no African American men.
I know who we can ask.
I do know the person. We have a friend
that loves stiff-arming them,
This podcast is brought to you by
TJ Maxx.
Curators of social media and websites that are risque, that promote risky behavior.
Risky business. Risky sex.
But that's not the point. My point is, I'm questioning if that had been somebody else. Like if that was the principal of y'all high school. You remember when the principal of y'all high school got busted with 50 pounds of that Yola? I don't remember. What was the story? I didn't go to their high school. No, Raj. Do not dance around this. The principal of this man's high school got busted distributing dope to the whole community. And but I feel like that was all over the national news. Principal selling that dope at lunch. I think y'all had a vending machine in the teacher's lounge. And they were selling dope, right?
Here's the thing. I see where you're going. I see you trying to make a specific example. But if this was a pizza faced black man, it wouldn't have said just 55 ounces of weed brownies.
They would have been.
You know what?
Go ahead.
You know what?
I'm listening.
I'm taking it here.
I'm listening.
I'm taking it here. A little bit off subject, but along the same lines. New Iberia's own poster child, giving back to the community, great human being, got crucified in the newspaper from some girls that claimed that they had 4 drinks.
Oof.
And rape. It's rape. Roto World actually said that his career is over. Now, that's saying it before you even know the full story. So granted, let me go ahead and say right now to the people listening, I don't know the full story, so I'm not taking any side. But before the news even found out the whole story, you throw the R word. You throw. I feel like there's nothing worse than that. It's misdemeanors and theft and burglary, and then it's rape and then murder. You know what I mean? They threw that on him. No Name said, if you go ahead and research it for yourself, guys out there, and if you most of the time, probably if you're listening, you know what I'm talking about. Threw that word at him before even knowing the whole story. But with this pizza face white girl that I went to middle school with, they caught her with, let me say this again, 55 ounces of brownies, which is cool. I'm down with that. 16 pounds. You're a mathematician, literally.
Yeah.
Aldo Nice is a mathematician. I don't know if you guys out there knew that. Can you give me 16 pounds in ounces?
No, I don't know I don't know
I didn't think you could.
I don't know the conversion right off the top of my head. But I know
I didn't think you could.
That's 16 2,000ths of a ton. So she had a portion of a ton of that dope. Probably nothing but saran wrap all in her kitchen. Dope.
Yeah, she probably spent more on saran wrap than she spent on the weed brownies. 16 pounds of weed, of marijuana, is 256 ounces. So why wouldn't they say pizza face white girl gets busted with 256 ounces of marijuana. Why did they choose to focus on the weed brownies? Which is harmless, you know, like, which is like, oh, she made brownies, she wasted a little bit of her boyfriend's weed in it, and oh shit, she's got weed brownies now. Well, we gotta take her in. But she'll get off because she made a mistake. No, they choose to focus on the 55 ounces of weed brownies, not the 16 pounds of marijuana or the 94 grams of heroin. Heroin. Like, literally female superhero.
Like, literally the worst shit. Like, you on heroin.
Right. And they know the story. They found this in her house. And they don't know the whole story with
other black individuals.
Black, pizza face black man, let's call him that. And they choose to crucify him. Double standard, huh?
I don't know, you were talking about rape, and we can probably, like, the fact that we're two men having a podcast and talking about relevant issues, we'll probably have to get to a point one day where we have a discussion of rape, and maybe we're going to need a moderator. Maybe we'll need a young lady in here to kind of keep us balanced on that.
Maybe we'll need a moderator.
Not a moderator. But I think just the idea of we being in the age of rape culture now versus us growing up in the age of not rape culture makes it hard to, like you said, crucify anybody in absolutes. I'm just saying that as politically correct as I almost feel like rape, like when they say rape is rape, that's really not the thing. There's like 1,000 types of rape. Like when we were, there's like quote unquote rape because you're 18 years old and you're dealing with a 16-year-old at your school. Like, and like a lot of the time those kids have to walk around as sex offenders because they're you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. I have to reiterate this. I mean, reiterate this. Please, I'm telling you, Aldo Nice, and the listeners, please go and watch the episode of the Carmichael Show that is focused on rape.
Yeah, I'll check it out, and I'm sure he's saying a lot of the same things.
No, because look, all right, so I'll give you a wee bit of it. You're in the club, you're a little drunk, you meet a girl that's a little drunk, also maybe a lot of drunk, and you go home, and you have what you think is consensual sex, and then it turns out not to be consensual sex. I'm giving you a scenario. I'm not giving you absolutes. What you think is not consensual. What you think is consensual sex, what she thinks wasn't consensual sex. Granted, let's not even get into if there's something for one of us to lose. You got a case. Because that girl can say that she was raped and you thought you was just lucky.
The thing about this is, I get where you're going. The thing about this is, this isn't a drive-by part of the podcast. I'm not gonna do that to myself. I'm not gonna do that to myself because I do have I have enough opinions about this and enough strong opinions about this to not misrepresent my stance on it. I'm just gonna say there are different types of rape, and like the worst of the, I mean, I don't know. It's like, I feel like almost the worst of the worst is like, the child molestation. But like one step under that is like somebody you trust, like date rape, like forcefully taking it when the person says no. I feel like that's a type of rape. But I feel like on the rape scale, like somewhere down there is we had a whole bunch of drinks together and he's inside of me and then I say, nah, I'm not with it no more. Like, I feel like that's on the rape scale. It's just nowadays that's a lot more of like the stories you'll hear. Like, damn, y'all were already having sex and you told him to stop and he did, but he didn't stop immediately. And then that's like, so I feel like there's a lot of little gray areas, but I guess the bigger point I was saying there, getting to, I mean, no means no. So there's nothing gray about that. But I guess the point I'm getting to is when you're talking about Pizza Face Black Man and you're talking about his career being over and you're talking about all that, what I think is interesting is I know how we grew up, and I'm not going to talk too much about the type of wild, fun times we had in college and high school and things that were okay, whatever. I feel like that guy grew up in that same culture, and was like, man, I'm over here. You want to do it with me, so you might as well want to do it with my friend too. And he probably propositioned that young lady. That's how I think it happened from what I've read in all of the stories. If she did it or she didn't, whatever. But at the end of the day, doesn't that come down to he say, she say? There's no he say, she say about 94 grams of that Yola at your house and 55 ounces of weed brownies and 16 pounds of that weed. But we're going to still kind of paint this picture in a way for pizza face white girl versus black dude. I feel like there's enough gray area not to just jump to conclusions in that case. And I feel like conclusions were definitely jumped to in that case.
Absolutely.
But I mean, I wish the brother all the best. I do. And if he did nefarious things, then I guess I don't wish him all the best. Then I guess I would wish that he gets what's coming to him. And I mean, that's just real. I know that she wrongs too, but you can't go around raping people. Thing.
No, I absolutely agree with you. Yeah, and I'm gonna leave it at that. That's all I can say about it while staying somewhat neutral about the situation. I can't go too far in because I don't know all the particulars, and I won't give myself enough rope to hang myself. You know what I'm saying?
At the bottom of that news report, it says she was booked in a Paris jail on charges of possession with intent to distribute marijuana, possession with the intent to distribute heroin, possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of a controlled dangerous substance within a school zone, and obstruction of justice. She was doing it all.
And she obstructed justice too.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was probably...
So, I mean, she fought. Like, she wasn't just like that. She wasn't just like, all right, laws, y'all got me. Like, she was like...
That's resisting arrest.
Belligerent,
I thought obstruction of justice was like trying to flush stuff down the toilet, like when them laws is coming or something.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, she wasn't like super compliant. Like, oh, y'all got me. Like, she was rebellious about it.
So if she don't have no more money now because they didn't took all her dope and everything, you think she gonna have to start over again by like selling that monkey?
I mean, that's what I would do.
If you you would sell that monkey?
By any means necessary. I mean, if I'm in the game, I might as well keep, dig a little deeper.
get right down to it, man. I'm happy.
You know how much money you can make? Well, never mind. Anyway, so I think that'll probably conclude.
No, it definitely will.
Of Best Friend Weekend.
Hey man, it was fun. Yeah, it's about to be 4th of July weekend, man. What are they doing for 4th of July? We're gonna do some fun stuff for 4th of July weekend. If you don't end up watching it,
celebrate America. Go celebrate independence.
Go to Essence.
Go celebrate the fact that you could do bad stuff and be white and not be crucified.
America.
And do bad stuff and be black.
America.
And just be careful if you black.
This podcast is brought to you by America. See,
but I love it. I love America. I don't want to go back to Africa. Don't.
I just found out. I found out that you could be good in like East Africa. Like East Africa is okay. It's okay.
You probably be straight in South Africa too.